I don't know about you chums, but I really don't know if Prince Harry understands exactly how the media works, particularly when you're on the slide. Do you know what I'm saying? And this happens to every celebrity, right? And Harry and Meghan are definitely 100% on the slide. And the reason why they're on the slide is really because, well, think about it over here in the United Kingdom is currently suing yet another national newspaper. And you need the media on your side. And when you think about it, I've mentioned this before, you would have thought that Harry might have just drawn a line under it and of course thought, well, you know, that was then, let's just move on and try and build bridges. Somebody recently wrote, I think it was in an opinion piece, that, well, William accepted just £1 million from News UK over some story that he then donated to the Invictus Games. Harry hung out and got 20 million. That's a farce, because he didn't, right? And I know that for a fact. I mean, the Rupert Murdoch organisation certainly didn't pay that much money out. But what you've got is Harry now alienating media at every level. And this is really impactive against what his wife allegedly wants to do, which is to become an entrepreneur. Because, of course, if you want to be a billionaire selling things, you need people to give you good reviews. Not just good reviews, but, you know, coming up on shows, testing things like those magazine daytime things, you know, the sort of thing. And Harry each time gets it wrong, then it really implodes, right? And this is now beginning once again from another hapless tour, whatever you want to call it, is truly imploding. As ever, let me explain. Morning chums, nice to see you. Thank you so much for your time and I hope you're keeping well. By the way, I've just found something in the supermarket, another another addiction. You know those Terry's chocolate orange? Well, they do like a mini one, like a cream egg now. Have you tried those? Oh God. You know, oh, they're lovely. Too expensive. I think it was 85 pence. I thought it was 55. That was enough. When I got to the till, I thought, well, I can't put it back now. But the thing is, what a treat, you know. I don't really like the Terry's chocolate orange, you know, bar. But the egg has just got the fluffy stuff in. I know. Isn't it weird when you tell me if you've ever tried anything that you now wish you hadn't? Because now you know you're going to be getting more of it, right? And that's the worst bit, isn't it? You're thinking, yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting more of that stuff. And there lies your problem. You see, this is why we put on too much weight, isn't it? So let's get back to you. We haven't to wave, have we? Let's get back, of course, to your royal story of the day. Many might suggest, of course, that this is turning into yet another disaster gate. And just cast your mind back to this about, really, in many respects, how stupid Prince Harry is, right? And I don't mean that unkindly, but remember when he got his security and he didn't win what he wanted? And then he very quickly sat down with the BBC. And if you remember with the BBC, then they put it out without even informing the palace. And there was Harry moaning about the establishment and how his father could have interjected. And then, of course, Keir Starmer, the government, they could do something. And, you know, this is the problem. You've got a petulant child. Now, you know, this may shock you, but actually at times I do feel a bit sorry for Markle. Yep, hear me out though, chums. Mainly because, you know, it's her fault she married him, right? But the thing, can you imagine having this moaner? Because it's never his fault, you know? I mean, she's as bad, don't get me wrong, but can you imagine, like, thinking, oh gosh, you know, he's now going to go on about this and this. Now, what the problem is now is that Harry clearly doesn't understand how media works, right? Because as we know, he sat down or stood with Channel 4, did this big interview regarding his Jordan visit. And this was going to be this big thing that was, you know, going to set the stone. And as I mentioned previously, clearly he'd not done his homework. Whoever is advising him, they're not giving him the right information. But if you're going all that way round, wouldn't you spend an inordinate amount of time thinking, let's work out what are we there for, what are we doing, and what can we hope to achieve from it? Clearly not bothered. He just went out there, did it, etc. Right? Moving forward, now this is where this really implodes and makes me smile in many respects, because as we now know, this has hit over to the Deputy Foreign Minister. She's kicking off. And on top of all of that, Harry, according to an excellent source, wanted to know if the interview now could be pulled. Right. So pulled where? It's across, you know. Now, could it then also, if it couldn't be pulled, and this is from an excellent source, re-edited? Now, many will know that Harry looks very confused and very perplexed at very simple questions, and in many instances almost looks like he's smirking and not necessarily on brand with what he's supposed to be selling. But again, this is Harry, right? Now consequently, this is going to be a problem because Channel 4 thought they got an exclusive. Now Channel 4 are a very beleaguered channel over here. They're not doing well at all in the ratings. The woman who ruined it has now moved on. That's my opinion. And the bottom line is, you know, basically they're looking, so they've done quite well out of this, right? And they agreed to adhere to not asking him questions about XYZ and all that sort of stuff. So they did their part of the bargain. Why is this a problem now? Well, this becomes very nerve-wracking now because for Harry, each and every time, and remember he tells you he suffers from anxiety, palpitations, nerves, that sort of stuff. Now, whenever he gives an interview, and we saw that sort of hapless interview, if you remember, a couple of months back where he was wearing the baseball hat and then he had to apologise on Canadian TV, and it was all sort of like, oh, you know, best leave it really. This is the problem. He's obviously lost that media mojo, doesn't know what he's really saying, and consequently when he does step in front of a camera makes an absolute hash of it. Consequently, what I find fascinating is at this particular point, Markle was supposed to be part of this interview, right? They were going to be both together, and at the 11th hour she suddenly felt a little tired, a little queasy, and suddenly, you know, no, she wasn't available. Now make of that what you will. Did she either know the true story in the background to that, or did she just simply not want to do it? Wasn't there any value in it for her? Because obviously she's just going to be clinging to Harry like some kind of magnet while he does most of the talking. One might suspect when you think about the word salads that she comes up with, this was probably the very best idea. Or, as many people are suggesting to me, she knew that Harry wasn't totally across this whole remit, and at the 11th hour thought, I'm not going to be attached to that. One thing that you could say about Markle, and tell me if I'm wrong here, chums, is seemingly she knows exactly when to step away when the bomb is about to go off. Was it put there deliberately? Or more importantly, had she no idea either? I'd love to know what you think, as ever, in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.